How did you get over suicidal thoughts? Serious? I'm not 100% fine yet, but I try to think in my little sisters when I have episodes. I know how that would destroy their lives, and also try to think in my parents that for sure would feel guilty. Not really sure. I think having something else besides family to live for. Have been depressed for almost my entire life. Never stop wishing for dying. But never get any actions. Guess I am just too lazy to dead. Been suicidal and depressed for 8 years now. They say I have a personality disorder and I'll never be happy again. I guess I just try to not think about it. Doesn't really help though. For me it was always think of who would be hurt because you did this. Aldous Huxley said, "Gratitude is heaven itself." in the book The Island. When I read that, it soothed me like a divine mother, like being hugging over the crying child in me. I figure that life is eventually going to end one way or the other, and that suffering is part of the experience of learning and growing, and I decided it would be a better decision to try to live through the rest of the life I didn't choose to be born into and see what I can end up doing, rather than just call it quits. I'm curious to see what things will happen before I have to die. Death is already waiting for us. Embrace that death will happen whether you want it to or not, and embrace being curious about the existence that you embody. You are something. You are unique in the perspective that you shape. No one in the world knows what it is like to be you. So, show them. There is so much to do and learn before we die. If it is heartbreak, let yourself see the truth you didn't want to see about yourself, so that you can continue. You must continue, friend. Whatever darkness is upon you, there is most certainly a light coming. And if not, be the light for yourself. Rebel against the hopelessness around you. Rebel against death. I didn't. I just don't act on them. Really as simple as that. Open eye meditation. Took a while to get into it. But it transformed my life. 150 milligrams of Zoloft did the trick. Knowing that it would destroy my mom is what stopped me in the heat of the moment. It was giving up on religion that stopped me from going back. Let me elaborate. I was convinced I was going to hell. You can't blame me, it's what my pastor preached from the pulpit. Gay people deserve hell. Period. I didn't care, I was already in hell. At least talking my life would give me a semblance of control and give a change of scenery. One night I had a quiet thought, what if there isn't a hell? That stuck with me. If there wasn't a hell and I ended it, it would be over. No life, no hell, no nothing. And that freaked me out. If my current experience was hell, I was willing to end my current life to move to the next, but if there wasn't anything next, then maybe I should give this life a shot. I made a plan and promised myself I would execute it if I found that living in hell wasn't worth living at all, but in the meantime I would give life a shot. I ended up leaving the church and the experience completely changed my outlook. If this life is all we have, then it is inherently more valuable. I no longer live my life thinking about the next. I try to make the best of what I have and live the life I am given. It's all I have. They're still there, on occasion. It took a while, but I've become better at dealing with them. Depression and anxiety never 100% leaves you, at least in my opinion. You just become better at dealing with it. For me that was family support, a girlfriend that actually helps, exercise and daily meditation to accept the thoughts I have, why I have them, and to learn to let them go. Some of you might find this as a joke, but I got over the thoughts by thinking about money and power. I just got fed up of being powerless and tiny, that now I strive to work my way up in the military and business so that it can help in my future in politics. I have children and a mother who has already lost 2 out of her 4. No matter what happens, I will not do that to them. To me, my suicidal thoughts are just a last-ditch effort to find some sort of control in life. You gain a sense of control by putting the most important thing you have on the line. Nothing else matters, if you're contemplating life and death. It's almost like suicidal thinking is a distraction technique to change the channel from whatever is getting me down to something where I feel better, where I have control and my choice really matters. A number of things have helped me: medications, DBT therapy, and mostly just knowing that my suicidal thinking is just my own special way of trying to get control of my thoughts again. And once I viewed suicidal thoughts as a coping mechanism, rather than the most important decision of my life, it gave me a sense of distance from my problems. To view they subjectively as thoughts and nothing more. Late to the conversation, but I finally went to see a counselor. It was weird admitting out loud that I had been having those thoughts, but it really helped. Second visit on Monday. She also recommended a few non-prescription things to help with depression. 5-HTP, being one of them, has helped get me up over the hump. Music. Thank you Taylor Swift. A lot of replies already, and I think this is one of those threads that I'll definitely find myself reading cause everyone's experience is so different. Here's what I did. I gave myself a timeline. I was on medication for my depression and anxiety, and I saw a therapist every couple of weeks, but nothing seemed to make me feel any better. I had a dream one night that my oldest brother and his girlfriend had decided to commit suicide together, and that our entire family celebrated it almost like a wedding. We had a party, told stories, cried, had lots of food and drinks, danced. And at the end of the night, my brother and sister-in-law was injected with something and they went to sleep. I told my therapist about that dream and that I felt like suicide shouldn't be so taboo. That people should be allowed to make this decision about their own life and death, and not be viewed as selfish. I told him that I'd made my choice. I would give it a year. I would use this year to do my absolute best. I wouldn't say no to any opportunities, and I'd work harder than I felt I had energy for. If at the end of the year, I was feeling as bad as I was then, I would kill myself without feeling like I was being selfish. Honestly, I'm not sure he took me seriously, but I was. I kept my promise and I really did work on myself. I still have days where I can feel very down, but a lot of things have changed for me and I feel happier than I can remember feeling for years, and those thoughts of ending my life is no longer a part of my days. Actually, I'm very much looking forward to seeing what the future might bring. Tried to kill myself, found out I didn't want to die, and now I'm really grateful for the paramedics and doctors who saved my life. I'm still depressed, but at least I want to live. Almost dying was really scary, especially when I realized that I did it to myself. I'm very lucky to be alive, and my problems is not worth dying for. Mine was more of a what would happen if I did it scenario in my head. I care too much about my family to do that to them. I decided that someday I wanted to be more than a dead kid. I thought about everything that had brought me to this point, and I wrote everything down and I burned it and decided that I needed to make a change. I also tried to change my situation. I got help, and I started trying to be more than just that kid. Also, on the first day of a new school, a kid I'd never met before asked me if I wanted to kill myself. That shocked me into accepting help. I haven't. I live in constant fear and distrust of myself, afraid of the moment my conscious switches off and leaves my subconscious to run on autopilot. Every day is a new challenge. I usually avoid it because I'm just straight up too busy doing other stuff, and also the only person at 2 of my 4 jobs that has certain levels of expertise. Zoloft. I didn't. I just keep pushing them away, day by day, with small accomplishments. Gave myself a year to feel better before I allowed myself to start seriously planning. Felt better eventually. I thought about what it would do to my mother, and promised myself I'd never do that to her. I don't. My suicidal thoughts are like buying a lottery ticket. I'm not expecting to get out of this mess in that way, but I need to pretend sometimes. I wouldn't be suicidal if I weren't in pain. I don't feel sorry for wanting to end it. My life might get better. It might not. I'm sticking around for now. I was dealing with chronic pain that didn't currently have a solution, as far as any specialists I saw could offer. I wanted to end it, but then I thought about how I would just be exchanging my pain for the pain of my family. I figured that by just enduring the pain myself, I'd limit the amount of people hurt by the situation. I tried and failed to kill myself years ago. While recovering in the hospital, 3 different psychiatrists evaluated me. 2 of them recommended outpatient care, but the third one wanted me temporarily committed to a facility. The other 2 won out and I was released when my physical injuries were treated. After that, I knew if I killed myself then that one psych would be proven right, and since I didn't particularly like her, I couldn't have that. I haven't killed myself for 9 years, despite never really getting over the thoughts, so it seems to be an effective strategy.